I had to stop reading the Bible. I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I'm having trust issues with God. I feel like I'm gonna cry. Here I am at 3:00 p.m. drinking an iced coffee. Why am I doing that? Because when you work for yourself, there are just times where you just don't feel like it. And that is me right now. And so today I'm going to be doing a photo shoot for my website because I have some exciting things coming up for my site and my site needs to be updated. Like, I built this website in like 2022 while I was still living in a homeless shelter. And so the site has stood the test of time. But as y'all can see, I had baby locks in my hair. Now I got grown woman locks. So it's time to update. I started to do a style in my hair, like some sort of an updo, so that I can hide the length and not have to take a new picture like every year or two. But you know, there's nothing wrong with taking a new picture every year. So let's get that set up. Honestly, lately, I haven't been out practicing my photography lately. I just felt like I needed a break from that because the last person that I asked while I was out at the beach wanting to practice sunset photography, he was extremely rude to me and I wasn't feeling that. Like, it actually made me cry because it reactivated this feeling of rejection that I fear in my business. I don't fear being rejected by people. I fear being rejected by God because during my last season of freelancing in Houston, I ended up losing everything. And so it's like, I'm fearful of losing everything again this time around. Like, I'm afraid of God rejecting my ideas, even though he's the one that gave them to me. So that doesn't even make sense for me to feel this way. But most fears are irrational. So I've just been home planning, shooting, creating products, doing research, just trying my best to figure out how can I go about freelancing better and more strategically and more logically this time around, rather than just kind of sitting around waiting for things to happen for me. It gets exhausting because I often wonder, how long is it gonna take before I see the fruit of my effort, you know? Is it gonna be after I lose my place again, you know? Will I have to leave Chicago and do all this crazy stuff? Like, I don't want to go through stuff. But unfortunately, that's a part of the process. I have to go through things that I don't necessarily want to endure. I actually decided to take the same approach that I'm taking to my dating life, where I'm praying the scriptures over what it is that I believe in. Y'all, I'm still healing. I don't even know how transparent I should be. A couple of months ago, y'all know I was reading the Bible one chapter a day and making videos based on what was being revealed to me. And I got to 2 Samuel and I got to the part where David's about to do the thing with Bathsheba and I just couldn't read it anymore. I had to stop. Like, I had to take a break from reading the Bible. And then once I came back from taking a break, I couldn't continue in 2 Samuel. I had to go to something else that was a little more encouraging, which was Psalms, which we talked about in the last video. And the reason why I couldn't read through 2 Samuel is because at the time I felt like I'm still healing. Like, just knowing that I have dealt with a person who uses Bible stories like David's to encourage himself to abuse God's grace. And it's like, I don't know, I just thought to myself, God, why do you let stuff like this happen? Like I understand why he lets it happen. Everybody has free will, everybody has choices, but it's like, why was I put in the line of fire? And why does it constantly feel like I'm under fire in like every area of my life? My job, my love life, all of that. A couple of days ago, I decided that I wanted to go back to 2 Samuel and I wanted to try and read through that scripture again, because now I have a love life and I'm just trying to get to the root of what it is that's still hurting me. I can't believe I'm talking about this on YouTube. Oh my God. Woo, man. Oh, Lord help me. So I don't know why. Oh man, I feel like I'm gonna cry. I have freelanced before. Caught COVID in the middle of the freelance journey and ended up losing my place. And I'm afraid that the same thing is gonna happen to me again. I have fallen in love before. God allowed someone to get close to me, and apparently I wasn't discerning enough to see that he was a wolf in sheep's clothing. And I fell for him and I got my heart broken, and now I'm afraid that it's gonna happen to me again. So it's like, I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I'm having trust issues with God, because it's like, I don't know what you're doing. Like, trying not to cry. I don't know what God is doing. I don't know specifically what his plan for my life is. I just know what I saw, right? I know I saw a beautiful life for myself in Chicago, and that I was a writer, director, filmmaker. I know when I was in that homeless shelter, I saw a vision of me holding a baby girl in my hands, and that's what got me through homelessness. I know what I saw, but it's like, I don't know how much more trauma and betrayal and pain I'm gonna have to go through in order to get to those places that I saw in my mind. So, going back to what I was saying earlier, I went back to 2 Samuel. But I decided to go a couple chapters before the whole thing with Bathsheba, because I'm just like, all right, let me re-immerse myself into whatever is happening. And I got to 2 Samuel 7, where God makes a promise to David that he would give David an offspring, and that his offspring will be in charge of building a house for the Lord. And David said a prayer. I took David's prayer from 2 Samuel 7 and I inserted the vision. I rewrote it. Oh God. Okay. I rewrote it in my prayer journal, and I inserted the vision that God gave me in the parts where David was talking about the promise that the Lord gave him. So I pray this prayer every day, just hoping and believing that God will make it happen for me. While I was feeling a little discouraged, I was reminded of this vision board. It's like it's here every day, and sometimes I don't see it, but today it caught my eye, and this scripture stood out to me. It says, "Blessed is she who has believed that the Lord will fulfill his promises to her." And so that just gave me the strength and encouragement that I needed to just keep going, despite the fact that I don't know how things are going to turn out for me. So anyway, let's build out this photo studio and see what we can do. Okay. Did you see it? So this is what we have so far. This is a backdrop that I got from Amazon, and that big cardboard box behind it is a very big green screen that I will be putting to use within the coming days. So I'm gonna put some sandbags down to secure everything, provided by the lovely beach. I remember the day that I went down to the beach to go get the sand, and a girl walked up to me and said, "Excuse me, what are you making?" And I said, "Sandbags." And she was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, let me mind my business." I was like, "You okay, girl?" That was a good question though. I should have said I'm building a movie set, but I don't want to put a target on my back because This is Chicago. All right, so let's raise this up and unroll it. I thought it was gonna be a little bit more brown than this. This is kind of like manila, almost. But that's okay, because guess what? I can change the color in post. So now I'm getting my camera ready. Weird thing about me and doing self-portraits is that for some reason these always make me cry. So I'm hoping I don't cry today. The reason why self-portraits make me cry is because I have always had a low self-esteem. I know, crazy, right? But it's true. With the failed relationships that I've endured, specifically my failed marriage, it just made me feel like I wasn't beautiful or desirable or worthy of being loved. So whenever I saw myself, I just felt like I'm not attractive, I'm not wanted. So I'm still healing from some things. Don't come for me. Yes, I have been to therapy. So okay, so here's what we've got. We've got the camera in the hallway, since there's a zoom lens on it. And we got a light here and a light here, right there. And so this is how I'm looking. I have the app for the camera pulled up on my phone since I don't have a remote shutter, you know, those old school things. And so what I'm trying to do right now is just test the lighting. Let me make sure you can see me. Okay. I'm trying to test the lighting because I don't understand. All right, let me focus on me. Sit up straight. I didn't know this was gonna be this hard. All right, I'm gonna take a sample photo. That was too fast, I wasn't ready. The contrast is really dark. Like, I feel like I'm losing details in my hair, because my hair is like a dark brown color and it looks blackety black here. So I'm trying to figure out, how do I light myself properly, because both of these lights are on 100% brightness. So it's like, how do I, is it the light in the room? Okay, I'm gonna turn off the light in the room and see if that does anything. It seems like it's just making the picture darker though. Let's try that. That doesn't really seem like it changed anything. It just seems cooler. I wonder if there's anything else I can change. I'm gonna try something I've never done before that kind of scares me a little bit. I'm going to use a reflector. So, okay, so here's the reflector. Gotta be careful. Okay, it didn't pop out like I thought it was going to. But I'm gonna use this to try to reflect light onto my face. Okay, I don't know if I'm doing this right at all, but I was able to prop it up on the floor here because for some reason I can't secure it the way that I was planning to in my head. So let's try this again. Let's see now how we're looking. All right, 3, 2, 1. Oh wait, there's a countdown. It is still too much contrast. We're getting there. We're getting there. All right, I fixed it. It wasn't the contrast. It was actually the ISO of the image that was kind of making it weird. So that was a little too bright. Let's try a lesser ISO and then see if that makes it even better. Not exactly. So ISO 800. I wonder if I change the shutter speed to 80, would it be better? See, the thing about photography is that this is just a lot of trial and error. And I feel that that speaks to the nature of my business. It's just so much trial and error. You don't exactly know what you're doing for a while, but you just trust that eventually it's gonna work out. Yeah, so we'll try shutter speed 1/80, f-stop 4, ISO 800, and see if we can get this done. All right, I gotta readjust my life right quick, but let's see what we can get done. Come on over here. I don't know why this photo session was taking so much out of me. I think it's because, I don't know, I always feel like self-conscious when I take pictures, because it's like, I don't know, it's just stressful. I don't know why it's so stressful. But once I adjusted the lights, and then I started to get a little bit creative with the shadows and like the composition, I was just like, oh, I kind of like this. So once I started taking shots that I actually liked, it's like, oh, okay. Like it started to become easier. I've been recording and taking photos for the last, I think like 2.5 hours. And first starting off, I just had such low energy. And it's because I just didn't feel like going through the motions of trying to perfect the image, because I don't know, like I just feel like I have low self-esteem when it comes to these things. And it's like, man, what is the purpose of this if it's not gonna work out? But then it's like, I keep working at it and then eventually it does work out. So it's like, what was the whole point of that? I don't know, but I don't know, I get sick of myself sometimes. But those are the highs and lows of business. Sometimes you feel like you in the groove, you got it going on, everything makes sense. And then there's sometimes where things just don't make any sense. That's the whole point of this channel, is to be vulnerable and transparent with you as you watch me go on this journey of faith, where I don't know what's gonna happen to me next. No part of this is gonna be pretty, no part of it's gonna be perfect. And so even during these depressive states where it's like, I'm sad, I'm crying, I don't feel like doing anything, I'm trying to drink coffee late in the afternoon to wake up to feel motivated to do stuff. And it's like, you know what? That's just part of the journey. Whoever don't like it, they don't have to watch. But for those who are the real ones, like they're here for me, they're supporting me, they're praying for me, and I need your prayers. So with that being said, I'm about to clock out. I was gonna shoot some more, but I think that this was enough. Like, and that's another thing with business, like setting boundaries for yourself and just allowing yourself to do what you can and then stop. Like, don't keep pushing until you go into overdrive, because that only builds up resentment and bitterness and makes me want to quit. So it's like, okay, this photo shoot was hard for me emotionally, spiritually. So now that it's done, I kept shooting until the camera is about to die. Now that it's done, I'm gonna just be like, boop, that's it. Cut it off. Camera's off. Don't even fire up the laptop. We can look through the photos and edit them tomorrow. Just relax. I'm gonna pick up shooting again tomorrow. And we're just gonna try this again. We're just gonna wake up, do some work, do your best, shut it down, go to sleep, wake up, try again. That's all I know. Like, we boiling it down to the basics at this point, because if I just try to shoot too far and jump too far ahead of myself, I just get too discouraged. I get too depressed. So it's like, no, boundaries. I'll see you in the next one when I have another life update. Hopefully the next life update is a little bit happier than this one. But look, we still smiling, we still going. It's okay, everything's all right. It's gonna be okay.